So now on to the news that everybody's been talking about for a week now, or all week now.
Only a few days.
Yeah. So we haven't done this tribute corner in quite a while. I think the last one was Piper.
Yeah, somewhere last year during the summer, and now we lost
Yeah.
a
Well,
country.
we lost a country definitely. Yeah.
Wait,
Um,
what?
we lost a
Wait, what?
country. We lost a country definitely.
Yeah, that's pretty more specific. Yes, we lost.
Well, but anyway,
I,
we did have some deaths, some wrestling deaths, but none big as this. We had
it's been
Axel
a
Rot,
while.
we had Axel Rotten pass away. We had Balls Mahoney pass away. You know,
Let's go. This is worse than 2015. People are going left and right.
yeah,
Ugh.
Blackjack Mulligan, Barry Windham's father, just passed away too.
So it's been like 4 people so far.
Yeah, and especially with celebrities too, especially with Prince dying same day as this person, Prince dying, and then like earlier this year, David Bowie and Alan Rickman, who played Professor Snape in Harry Potter, recently died. Like there's a lot of people like dropping now,
Ugh.
but none too
I,
big in the wrestling world than China.
yes, the ninth wonder of the world, the first intercontinental champion that almost could have been a world champion as well. Ugh.
Yeah, at one point, I even mentioned this. Like at one point, they were even, WWE was even considering at the time putting the like having China like challenge for the world title at SummerSlam and winning it. Like it would have been really groundbreaking if that was the case.
Yes, but that's all because we're trying to keep ratings and book
Well,
the
well,
show
well.
well.
Plus,
So
well,
we're
plus,
not trying to risk it.
yeah, well, yeah, and also plus like this was like they were winning against WCW at this time, but like they didn't want to. They think like they just didn't want to risk it, and they thought it wasn't gonna like be. They just didn't want to take the risk and thought this was gonna be like a successful thing because they were already winning against WCW. Like any false move or anything like that could have like had them right back where they were and had WCW like conquer them. I mean, I don't blame. I'm not saying China should have been a world champion. It would have been nice, but I don't know. Wouldn't have made a big deal about it.
Mm,
I think she was fine where she was and how she did in the Attitude Era. I mean, you look at how she came, like how she debuted. Like she debuted when like she attacked Goldust's wife Terry Runnels, Marlena at the time, like out of the crowd, and then she became Hunter Hearst, like Triple H, who was Hunter Hearst Helmsley at the time's bodyguard, and how she was just like so manly and like how you thought this wasn't even a woman and how she really stood out from everybody else.
well, that's part of her theme. Don't treat her like a woman or like a man.
Yeah, and then later on she goes on to compete in the Royal Rumble '99 and 2000. And I think also she was the first woman to compete in the King of the Ring, if I'm not mistaken.
That would be awesome.
I think she did. I think she did compete in the. I think she competed in the '99 King of the Ring
Uh,
because I remember. I think she had a match with. I think she faced X Pac at one in that tournament.
I'm sure she did, along with Jericho.
Yeah, well, she did rival with Jericho at one point for the Intercontinental title when she was the first woman Intercontinental champion.
Oh boy, if we had to see a match between her and Chris Benoit,
Oh boy. But yeah, but then she would go on to be Mamacita with Eddie Guerrero, and oh man, like now I really thought about it, like thinking about China's death. It's like wow, Eddie and China, they were a couple, and now they're both gone.
and that's only 11 years apart.
I know, like Eddie dies, and then 11 years later, like China goes. It's amazing. But and I saw this meme where like right away, kind of like yeah, the day they announced her death, like it was just like a picture of like Eddie kissing China's hand, and then like the caption says, "I've been waiting for you, Mamacita."
Uh,
I was like, oh, that's so sad.
hmm.
I mean, it's It's just crazy. Like, and they do that whole gimmick, and then eventually China goes after the women's title, and I don't even. I think she's held it 2 times. I think she's held it twice.
They've been making memes like, okay, gotta make sure other celebrities like Ozzy Osbourne and one other celebrity I can't think of at the moment, make sure they are safe and call them up.
Yeah, make sure all the celebrities are safe because there's a lot of famous people dropping like flies this year.
Oh boy, when Chuck Norris goes,
Oh no. Um, and then well, China. Then obviously the whole thing with Triple H and Stephanie happened, and then that caused China to not be with the WWE anymore. And then you know what's funny? Like she's never appeared in the WWE since it changed from WWF to WWE.
well, she was in the WWE headquarters a number of months ago, but that didn't really count much.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird. Yeah, like I remember I saw a picture of like her behind like a picture of her and like behind her was like the WWE logo. That was really surprising. But yeah, you also get also obviously the whole her doing the one night in China. Who could ever forget that?
Yes,
I
oh,
happened
more.
to I had the unfortunate I had the unfortunate the unfortunate yeah, experience. That was the word I was looking for. I had the unfortunate experience of actually watching some of that,
Uh,
and it it really kind of not kills you inside, but just like it's crazy that it's just crazy. Like you grew like not I didn't grow up watching them, but you like you like watch them and you like look back on like X Pac and China and all the great years, and then you see that video. It just really like
what, worse than the Hogan controversy
uh, mm,
of last
well,
year?
no, not for me, but just like not for me, but just like since like I really loved the Attitude Era and like really love looking back on it, and then I see China like with X Pac and they do their thing on that tape. It's like, oh god, what happened?
And
You know.
now they're gonna probably induct her in the Hall of Fame just because she passed away, not to clean up any messes that could have been resolved.
They're giving her the Macho Man treatment. They're treating her like
Except
Macho
that,
Man Randy Savage. And what's even sad is that she wanted to bury the hatchet. She wanted to like reconcile with Triple H. She even wanted to I think she even wanted to come back to WWE. She wanted to be back. But obviously Triple H will not allow it.
well, for certain circumstances, since they probably didn't think she was ready just yet.
Oh no, she was ready. She definitely would have been ready for a Hall of Fame for a Legends contract and getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. She would have been
Oh,
ready.
oh my! Imagine if
What?
I just had an idea. Like, what if Charlotte one day cuts a promo talking trash before WrestleMania, and then suddenly China comes out, the crowd pops, and we find out that she's going to be the special guest referee of the triple threat match.
Of China?
Yes.
Could have been amazing, but that didn't happen. And China appearing like that will never happen,
Well, if that
unfortunately.
happens, know if that actually happened. She definitely would have grabbed the flare and threw him out, threw him, and
Oh
then
God, I would have really loved to see that. Yeah.
yes, threw him, and then
Yeah.
Sasha Banks probably gets back in and
What's even
gets Charlotte, and then
yeah.
gets the win. Like, oh.
What's even more sad? What's even more sad is her last match, and it happened to be on TNA. Her last match was in TNA. Now, grant you, from what I read, it was like the highest when she debuted at TNA, and they did this. It was at this whole thing where it was Kurt Angle was rivaling with Jeff Jarrett, and with this whole thing where Kurt Angle was trying to get back at Karen for that whole for like being with having an affair with Jeff, and that whole rivalry. Like, and then they did the whole thing where Kurt Angle had a mistress, and that him and the mistress were going to team up against Jeff Jarrett and Karen at the Sacrifice pay-per-view, and then that mistress happened to be Chyna. But still, like at the time, I remember our friend Matt even spoiled it for me that Chyna came back to not WWE, TNA. That came to TNA. I was like, oh man, I could have marked out so bad if Matt didn't tell me that Chyna was in TNA.
This was like back in like 2013, 2014.
2011 actually.
Oh, okay.
Then 2011 it happened.
Still in your TNA crusade.
Yeah, this was when I was not watching I took off of WWE and watched only TNA. This is when I was just like uninterested at WWE at the time and just all about TNA, because at the time I thought it was entertaining, and I thought it was doing at least
lackluster
better, but it turned out to be lackluster. But then Chyna came to TNA, and they did this whole thing where, and her last match was her and teaming up with Angle against Jeff Jarrett. Believe it or not, I was kind of ironic that she'd be in the ring with Jeff Jarrett again. Jeff Jarrett was the guy that she pinned to be the first Intercontinental Champion, first woman Intercontinental Champion, ironically.
Ironic turn of events.
Yeah, so it was Chyna and Angle facing Jeff Jarrett and Karen Angle. Of course, Angle and Chyna won the match. At least she won her last match.
Yeah, from 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I can't believe it's been 5 years since that. But then, ever since that, she never appeared in TNA ever again. For I don't know who. I think it was just a one-time deal with her in TNA. But
Jeff Hardy someday is gonna come back. I'm sure of it. Same thing with Matt Hardy too.
What?
Matt come back to WWE one more time. I'm sure of it.
It could. Never say never.
Yes.
Yeah. So that after that run, after that whole match with Angle and everything, she did porn. She did obviously her porn career started. Then I think before she passed, she was doing she was, from what I know, she was like teaching English in China or in Japan.
Wow, I'm teaching with my name is where I actually teach.
Imagine that.
China's in China.
And then, of course, she tried to reach out to WWE. She wanted to get back, and obviously it never happened, and now we lost her. And I think it was all just from what I when I first heard about, her passing away, I thought of her time as, her drug addiction pass and the steroid, and I'm sure she did steroids.
Well, I'm curious as to what they say for her cause of death.
I didn't really see the cause of death, but I'm pretty sure. From what I heard, I think she was still kind of using.
If it was from drugs, then okay. But if it wasn't, then
But yeah, it's such a shame. It's such a shame that her life had to end like that, and it had to end that early for her. She was still young. She was only 45,
Uh,
and it's such a shame that it's gonna take this her passing to get her into the Hall of Fame.
disappointing, I know.
And now we're never gonna see her her physically in WWE.
Nope. That's unfortunate.
That really is it. It's like Macho Man. Like Macho Man didn't appear in WWE to like his last appearance in WWE was like '95, and then ever since then he never appeared in WWE ever again, and he never will. Same thing with Chyna. Hasn't been with WWE since 2001. Now she never will.
Ugh.
And what really bugged me too, like when I was seeing Twitter and I was seeing all the messages, and then I see the first tweet I see is Stephanie McMahon, and then I see Triple H, and it really bugged me that all of a sudden now they're like they're pouring their heart out in quotes to like about China, like
That's a
now
shame.
you're gonna say all these nice things. If she was alive, you wouldn't be saying these things.
It's just not
Like
fair.
if you really like felt this way about China, you would have had her like it on a Legends contract in the Hall of Fame by now.
That was not. That was the opposite of ballsy. That was nothing. There was nothing ballsy about it. Now you actually. That was a heel move to do.
Well, it definitely fits that Triple H and Stephanie McMahon are the authority and they're the heels and that they're heels in WWE.
Except this is real life, though, not wrestling.
I know, but
Well, at least
it
you
really
can see. Well, at least you can see X Pac.
yeah I don't yeah I didn't even see I don't think I even saw a tweet from X Pac. I mean, maybe it's because I'm not following him on Twitter,
Well, let's see.
but I'm sure he had to have said something. For God's sakes, he had a homemade sex tape with her. He has
But
to
that
say
was.
something.
Well, that was then though. Just like.
And they were a part of DX.
Yes. It. Wait. Did it? Wait. Does also bug you that during the DX reunion from Raw 1000, the announcers said like the whole gang's back together. No, you're missing one other
It's like,
person.
you had a woman in this group. She had muscles, and she was big. And her name is a country.
Ugh.
Except when it's spelled China, it's a Y instead of a I.
Yes, because it's not about. Wow. Or even better, that opportunity. Hey, there needs to be more of us, and then oh wait, X Pac and Road Dogg and Billy Gunn come out, and then wait, we're missing one other person. Then the crowd pops. Trying to
Oh
speak
my God!
next, and then
Imagine they actually did that, and then they're like, and Sean goes, "Wait, there's one more person we forgot." And then China comes out, and oh my God, everybody would have they would have lost their minds. I would have lost my mind. I would have been going crazy because I didn't think I'd
screaming,
see it happen.
screaming in the hollering like,
But now we're never gonna see that. We're never gonna
That's
hear.
how.
We're never gonna hear her entrance music and have her like walk down in the ring.
Walk down that aisle. But if that were to happen, that'd probably be the biggest pop. If it had to happen this year, that'd definitely be the biggest pop of this year.
Oh my
Second,
God,
second,
definitely.
second place being Shane McMahon. Well, that's
Probably,
hilarious.
yeah, definitely bigger than Shane McMahon because Shane McMahon was only gone for like 6 years. China's been gone from WWE for
15.
15 years. when you're gone the longest and you finally come back and people remember you, they will pop so loud, like out of their seats. And it
Oh,
won't. It wouldn't have been any different if Chyna showed up.
that would have been a glorious moment right there. Like,
It really would have. But we're never gonna hear that pop. We're never gonna like see that. We're never gonna hear that entrance music, and we're never gonna see her walk down the aisle in the ring ever again. And it's such a shame.
Oh, definitely.
But at least I hope, at least definitely she should be in the Hall of Fame next year for a on the WrestleMania 33 weekend.
Don't give her the Hall of Fame treatment. Actually, make it meaningful.
And that'd be pretty funny if X-Pac went to induct her. Nobody would be thinking of DX if it would be X-Pac inducting her.
Wait, what? Oh yeah, because that's her boyfriend.
Or her partner in that One Night in China video.
It would either be Triple H or X-Pac conducting her. That's pretty much all she wrote right there. But imagine if it was the whole entire DX crew. That would be something.
And like in a time where WWE's all about like the women's revolution or anything, they should be praising Chyna because she did more than anything out of any other diva. She actually
get that word out.
Or actually, yeah, I wouldn't even call her a diva. She wasn't even a diva. She was a WWE superstar.
Yes, a WWE superstar. We no longer use the word diva anymore.
Well, I don't even know if WWE says that about Charlotte and Natalya or anybody on the current roster now.
They said that. They said last week. They said there was a 6 women tag team match, not divas.
All right, good. At least they're not using it anymore.
Yes.
But Chyna was definitely a WWE superstar. She wrestled with the guys and women and everybody, and she held a man's title.
He was basically the Joanna Man of the WWE, but I don't think you get that reference.
The what man?
Ever heard of a movie called Joanna Man?
Joanna Man?
It's about a guy who plays in the WWE, who was kicked out of the NBA for some reason, and decided to play for the WNBA to continue playing basketball. And then later he ends with him being inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame, or at least being praised for it.
I guess so. But yeah, like it. But I definitely believe Chyna will. They're gonna have to put her in the Hall of Fame next year. They can't avoid it this time.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
No Triple H going on Austin's podcast and be like, "Oh, if my daughter looks up Chyna on the internet, if my daughter Googles Chyna on there and she sees what she sees, like that is not your excuse. That is not an excuse this time. Like there have been worse people that are in that Hall of Fame that have done worse than what Chyna has done."
Yes, because if WWE were to actually induct Christopher Benoit in the Hall of Fame, then what can WWE really say?
Plus, you look at Sunny. She was in the Hall of Fame, and she slept with pretty much if not half the locker room at that time.
What? Same thing for no. I think that she's the only one.
Well, and there are a lot of Hall of Famers besides women that went into the Hall of Fame and they all did something bad. Like Mr. Perfect, he died of a cocaine overdose, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
Jerry Lawler had some stuff too, but
Lawler was accused of sleeping with a 16-year-old.
And look him.
Well, I mean, later the 16. Well, that's not even like a good one because 16-year-old said it would. She said she faked the claim just to do something, but Um, and Carlos Colon, he was co-conspirated with killing Bruiser Brody in Mexico, or actually not
Yes.
Mexico, Puerto Rico, and he's in the Hall of Fame. So there's and Mike Tyson, convicted of rape, in the Hall of Fame.
Hogan. Too.
Well, Hogan's kicked out of the Hall of Fame because of that whole thing.
Still kicked out. Oh yeah, yes, he's kicked out.
And they blacklisted Jimmy Snuka because of the whole thing with
no, he's out too.
the whole murder thing. And
Uh,
who else? Who else? Yeah, just
wait,
all those and even Stone Cold, domestic abuse to his wife. I mean, as much as he definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but he did that. But let's not forget, he did that in his life.
well, that was a different time. So
Yeah, and especially it's a different time now. Chyna before she died, she probably was all clean and was like trying to get her life together.
wait, what? Oh wait, Scott Hall and Steve Roberts.
Perfect example too. Like you can't say, oh well, she was a drug abuser, but and she's clean now, but she was still a drug abuser. So was Scott Hall, and so was Jake the Snake. Well, Jake the Snake, I don't think was drug. I guess he was doing drugs, but he was more alcohol. But it still doesn't matter. It still doesn't matter. Scott Hall and Jake Roberts were all doing those, and they cleaned up. So you can't Chyna cleaned up, so you can't use that as an excuse now.
One can only wonder if Undertaker and Diamond Dallas Page are both going to get into the Hall of Fame next year.
It's possible. I think it's possible.
For both of them at the exact same time.
I think I could see them being in the same class.
So can I.
I wouldn't mind it.
And won't be surprised if who would induct DDP, even though it'd be obvious if it were Scott Hall and Jake the Snake, or if he was just Jake the Snake himself, since that was his mentor.
I think if Macho Man was still alive, I think he would have done it.
Or even Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, or him. I don't know. Probably they just pretty much just randomize a WCW superstar and just induct, or maybe Booker T. Maybe Booker T does it.
Wait, did someone induct the Road Warriors yet? They didn't they?
No, the Road Warriors are in the Hall of Fame.
Wait, what year was that?
2011, I think. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say 2010, but alright then.
Yeah, they're in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, the Dudley Boys aren't too far from that.
No, they'll get in. They're on the Legends contract for WWE, so they'll.
It's a guarantee.
Yeah, it's a guarantee they'll get in. At least a year or 2 years from now.
Yes, but when is Vince ever going in? That's the real question.
Vince McMahon?
We just don't know.
I don't know. But anyways, back to Chyna. It's she had an amazing career. She paved the way for a lot of women that are breaking out in WWE and wanting to go to that next level, and it's such a tragedy too that her life had to end this way.
At least it wasn't a tragic death, fortunately.
Yeah, at least she wasn't killed, or at least she didn't commit suicide, which I hope wasn't the actual case. But at least she didn't do anything bad. Well, I mean, she did some things bad, and she had her demons, but so does everybody. Everybody has their demons, but it's just unfortunate that she couldn't overcome hers.
But we don't even know what the cause of death is yet.
It was probably the drugs.
We don't know for sure. We have to wait.
But either way, all respect to Chyna. She had an amazing career, and she paved the way for a lot of people. So Chyna, rest in peace. I hope you find. Yep, you will be missed. And congratulations on the Hall of Fame induction.
Next year, which you're already calling, right?